Welcome back to Just Saying. Today I'm joined by Rosa Maria Mancini, writer, mother, perfectionist, hypochondriac, and self-proclaimed overprotective parent. She left behind her career and her New York roots to live abroad, first in Italy, where she worked at the Vatican, and then in Germany with her husband's military stationing. Her new book, SOS Podcasts, is a funny, sharp, and painful, relatable memoir about culture shock, motherhood, and how podcasts became her survival kit. We're talking about perfectionism, parenting quirks, and why sometimes the best therapy is listening to someone else's chaos in your earbuds. Let's dive in. Hey friends, I'm here with Rosa Maria Mancini, podcaster and author of the new book, SOS Podcasts. Welcome to Just Saying, Rosa Maria.
Hey there. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so I love your title because, and there's so much, you can read into that in so many ways. But I love that you're a podcaster too. And I can hear my dogs barking. So this is real life, people. And when you have French bulldogs, you know what I mean. Just saying. So tell me a little bit about. So you live in overseas right now, right?
I do.
Okay.
I live in Germany.
So you lived in Long Island. Tell me about what took you. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself and why you ended up moving over there.
Sure. So I am a writer. I started my career as a reporter, but I work in communications now. And one of my most recent projects was and is my memoir, which is called SOS Podcast that you already mentioned. And it's basically about sort of expat life and about how podcasts ended up sort of serving as a life buoy for me, because when I moved overseas, the first move was to Italy. That was a little bit easier because I have sort of Italian roots. So it was easier to sort of fit in Italy per se. But then when I moved over to Germany, it was just really hard because I didn't really connect with the German culture. So I kind of turned to podcasts, and the memoir is really about my podcast listening and how podcasts kind of, ended up serving all of these different purposes in my life, everything from self-help to obviously news and information, but then also to comedy, to drama, and sort of soap opera type podcasts that are out there as well. So they helped fill a big void for me. So that's really what the project is about.
So so you listen to so you're a podcaster though, correct? Right?
No, I am a
Okay.
podcast sort of addict.
Blonde moment. Okay, so you basically dived into the podcasting listening world, and it helped
Exactly.
you. It helped you, like in your time of loneliness. It's almost like too. Especially if you become accustomed to listening to that particular person, like like you're friends with them, in a kind of a way, like it feels a little bit of the void, and you want to hear what they have to say next, and you love their personality, and if they're laughing, they help make you laugh, and if they maybe you're dialing into topics that you're kind of curious about, and then it like fills in the blanks for things that you didn't know about. And also podcasting is a good way cause I'm just learning about this now, but podcasting is a good way to, you become part of a community. And especially if you have all these different avenues you're researching or looking at, I mean, you feel like you belong in a way. Doesn't that make sense?
Absolutely. And I mean, really, that's how I kind of use them, because in some ways, like you do feel like you have a friendship with the podcast host, because you in some ways are waiting for the next episode to drop, and you just that it's that familiarity, this idea that the voice, and then slowly you get to know the personality behind that voice, and you'll be like, oh, what is she going to say about this topic, or what is she going to add to this conversation and so forth. So it really, for me, it was exactly that. It was about sort of finding this community that I couldn't physically find in my environment in Germany, but I found it through podcasts. So I felt less alone, and more part of a community. So it was a real sort of groundbreaking for me when I felt quite isolated and out of place.
Can I ask you about your book? Well, let me ask. What did you expect from the life that you had in like Italy when you went, versus Germany when you went? I mean, did you have expectations to what you thought it was going to be, and then it just kind of turned out not to be what you thought?
Well, I mean, everyone, I don't know, I don't want to say everyone, but it is kind
Say
of
everyone, come on, if that's what you
okay.
mean, say it to me.
Everyone, yeah, everyone kind of, at least people that I knew were like, "Oh, you're moving to Italy, which is such a beautiful place." Because Italy is such a beautiful place, and it doesn't have, from a surface perspective, it's beautiful. The food is really good. The landscapes are lovely. They have great clothes, great shoes. I mean, the whole package is pretty fantastic. So if you say that you're moving to Italy, everyone's like, "Wow, that's amazing." So I moved to Italy for a job in journalism. And I thought I was going to spend a year there. And I mean, while I was Italian, because I am Italian, my parents were born in Italy, but Italian American culture is quite different from it's Italy. Like real Italian culture. There are like vast differences. For example, you can't order a cappuccino after like lunch because they will look at you like you're completely crazy because you you can't have a milk-based product after lunch. That is insane.
Really?
Meanwhile, like, yeah, I mean, who doesn't have a cappuccino in the US or even Italians? Like,
And then when you
if we
go,
want a
because I went to
cappuccino,
Italy, so when you go to the
yeah,
coffee shops, their coffees are like this big. And you're like,
exactly.
"Is that the largest you got? Like, that's like 1 sip." And then it costs so much. And I'm like, "Dang." But
No, it's
I
true.
just remember going to a little quaint little coffee shop, and you stand there, at the counter, and they have all their little stacked cups and everything. Like, they're not giving you, well, at least where I went, they're not giving you like their paper product cup. They're giving you like, this is for you to eat, drink here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like ceramic. They want you to they want you to drink it standing up.
right.
They don't want you to sit down. There's no sitting. So
Yeah.
you have to drink
I
it
sat
which is
because
kind of annoying.
I'm American, so I sat, and I took a picture of
Okay.
us sitting there drinking coffee because I thought this is a great picture. But I wonder if I could find it and put it on this podcast. Would it be funny? But yeah,
Yeah, that would be funny.
yeah. So it's totally a different scene. It's a different feel, and yeah, if you're gonna get shunned for having a freaking cappuccino after afternoon, I mean, like, why are they open then? Like, why are their shops open?
Yeah, or when my husband now, but at the time who was my partner, my boyfriend at the time, like we were making like lunch and I, took spaghetti and I broke them in half and he was like scandalized.
Like,
He was like, "What are you doing?" What and I was like, and my mother, who is Italian, like, she would break her spaghetti, but, like, he was, like, completely mortified by this by this act, that I had committed. So, there's a lot of rules, like, a lot of rules in
it's so
Italy
funny you
about
said that
food.
because I when I do my, because I make a mean spaghetti sauce or gravy,
Okay.
however you want to say it, right? But I make a really good. I mean, that's one of the things I do really well. Don't ask me how and why, but it is good. And I too, when I get to go, when I go put my noodles in, I'm like, am I going to be lazy and crack them in half, or am I going to sit there and wait and let them like, get down and then start making sure you stir them real good and everything? And but it's like it's so funny that you said that, and it's so stupid that I'm saying this, but it's like I wrestle with that. I always go, should I not? And sometimes I'll just
Isn't it easier to eat them, though, if they're broken in half? I
to
mean,
be
it is
honest
a
with
little
you,
easier.
my rule of thumb is if they're longer, they will roll on your fork a little bit better and a little bit easier, but you get too much sometimes in a fork. So yes, it can be a little much. And if you're a girl that's like, I just dainty, I can't, I don't want to, not
Exactly.
me. I'm like, but but because sometimes if they're cracked in half, sometimes you can turn them, but not all the way, and then they fall off the fork, and that is when you So that I think that longer is better. It's not as
Okay.
easy as you cook. It's easier to crack them and shove them in and stir them around rather than trying to get it, especially if you don't have a big enough pot. I know why we're getting off on a tangent, but as long as
That's
you
okay.
as long as you have a long, tall pot, I always make sure that I put my noodles in like the biggest, tallest pot I have. And I almost bring it to the top, a little bit left, because I think the more the water, the better. And you're supposed to salt your noodles, not oil, just salt, just
Yes,
FYI.
just so.
Yeah.
Yes, no, oil would the Italians would die
Yeah, because the
if
reason
they
is
heard
if you
that.
put oil on your noodles, then the sauce can't stick to the noodles because it slides right off
No.
because of the oil.
Yes.
However, because I'm somebody, I don't know. Let me ask you, because you're Italian. So when I do my sauce and my spaghetti, I will put it to
Right.
the side and I'll put a little bit of sauce in the noodles and mix it in. And then when I serve it, I serve the noodles and I put the spaghetti on top. But I don't mix the sauce and the noodles and then say, here you go. Does that make sense?
No, you're actually doing it the right way because
Okay,
that
good.
is the proper Italian way. You are to like put a little bit of sauce and make everything kind of wet.
Yes.
And then you are to plate and then put more sauce on top. So that if you would be Italians would love you because that is the right way
Telling you,
to
my
do
sauce is
it.
good. And
Yeah.
the thing is too, when you do your noodles, when you I don't rinse my noodles. I would never do that, but I
Yeah, you can't rinse them.
yeah, I because you need a
No.
little bit of the starch. Okay, so but I always when I put them in the colander and then I shake them out real fast, but then there is still a little bit of water there. You really kind of want a little bit of that water and you throw it back in the pan. And
Exactly.
that is like really important because when you put
Wow,
in,
you're really good.
I'm telling you, I love to
You're
cook. Why
yeah.
do you think I'm so
Okay.
chunky?
Okay.
And in fact, spaghetti is the one thing everybody loves. The one thing I've been doing too is I've been doing I mean, we're off on a tangent, but this is fun. So one of the things I've been doing lately is I've been looking on Instagram and I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this. That looks so good. And I'll send
Yeah.
the recipe to my husband and he's like, what's this? And I'm like, just hold on to it because I don't want to keep posting so many recipes to my Facebook because then people are going to go, what the hell, Jessica? That's just too many. So I sent it to my husband. He's like, okay. And then I go back to it or something. But one of the things that I've been seeing that I tried really, and it really tastes so good. And I do it now with like spiral noodles, but you can do it with spaghetti. So you make your spaghetti noodles and then you have like, I make good Alfredo, but let's say you just want to do a quick night, you get a jar and then you throw in your Alfredo. When you drain your noodles, you put your Alfredo in and then you put it in your pan and then you make a little bit of sauce, like meat sauce. Okay.
Okay.
Like, red meat sauce.
Like a red sauce.
Yeah, red sauce. And then
Okay.
you pour that over the top of it. You don't mix it in. You just pour it over the top of it. And then you put mozzarella on top, stick it in the oven for like a half an hour till it all melts up and gets hot. And it probably would be less time than that. And then when you bring it out, it's really good. I tried it one time and it was freaking bomb. I'm just saying.
So you put Alfredo and you put regular red sauce on
You
it.
put Alfredo on the noodles and you stick it in your pan. And I use because okay, I have really good dishes because I used to love to throw parties and stuff. So I have like great serving dishes. But because
Okay.
I'm lazy and I work so hard, I'm like, I'm putting this in a tin, something you buy at the store.
Like aluminum
Yeah.
pan.
So
Got it.
I
Yeah.
throw the noodles and the Alfredo in the tin, and then you pour the red sauce over top. You don't mix it. You just pour it on top. Just leave it. And you put a little bit of mozzarella on top, and then you throw it in the oven. Or you put I think you put tinfoil on it, throw it in the oven. I swear it is so, so good.
Okay.
You will die. It's actually
I have
good.
to tell you though, like the Italians don't believe in the Alfredo. They don't think it like they don't think it
The Americans
exists.
and their Alfredo sauce.
Yeah, exactly. So for them that is like scandalous. But I think it's good. So, I
I'm
mean,
just saying this is an Instagram thing and it's like if you look on like even look it up on the internet and you go Instagram spaghetti that whatever and this recipe will come
it
up.
comes up
Yes.
and it's good though. I mean, the thing is
Yeah.
this, you know what? I appreciate the rules because I think, structure is good, but I also like, where you can be
We
creative.
are in the
And
modern
I think
age,
that is
people.
okay. Yes. So I think like if it has to work and if it tastes good, then, it's okay if it's,
Right.
if you mixing sauces that are a little diverse per se.
So Italy's a little tight. right? Their little stick up their button about a lot of things. No
Oh,
offense, Italians. I love
yes.
you. My cousin lives in Milan. She went down there in the '80s. She's a was a seamstress and a designer. She actually designed one of my prom dresses that like everybody in my high school wore because my high school we used to share our outfits.
Okay.
I can look up, I can look up like my photo album and there's like three different people wearing the dress that my cousin designed. But
Oh, cool.
and my little sister was one of them too. She wore it too.
Okay.
And so anywho, but I know that my husband doesn't have a stick up her butt. So I'm just saying. But and her husband is nice, Pietro. He's a sweet guy. Or Peter. How do you
Okay.
say it, right? You said it was last time we
Exactly.
talked, you're like, that's Peter. And I'm like, oh, I
Yeah,
can do that.
Peter. Pietro. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so okay, so you're leaving Italy and they're a little bit tight-lipped on some things, and so you go to Germany
A
and
lot of
then
rules.
and so Germany more rules or less rules?
Even more rules.
What?
And here, and here they're like just even more rigid about like everything. So, and different because the Italians, they have their rules, but they're very warm and they're very loving. I mean, I wrote in my memoir that like, everyone calls you bella and
Oh,
tesoro, which means like treasure. So like it does wonders for your like personal ego because you just feel fabulous because
and everybody's
everyone is just
skinny.
so warm.
When I went there,
But
everybody's skinny. They're wearing scarves, and they're
all the time.
and
Yes.
they're all on Vespas. That's what I recognize.
Exactly. But in Germany, it's was very different. Like they are very just they have a lot of rules and there's no breaking the rules. Like Italians, you can break them. Okay.
Yeah.
But the Germans, there is no breaking of rules. They're just very like, I mean, for example, on a Sunday here, like there are rules about like noise. So like you're not allowed to mow your lawn.
Until what time?
No, all day.
On a Sunday?
On a Sunday. So, like, a Sunday is
Uh,
like a day where people are, like, home and they can actually do stuff.
right.
But, like, here there are no, you cannot mow your lawn. Like, if you're going to have, like, an event, you better inform your neighbors that you're having an event and that the noise level may be a little high. Otherwise, they will call the police
The
and they will
neighborhood.
come
Yeah.
the neighbor will. I mean, unless you would, like, give them a heads up, but if you don't give them a heads up, they'll most definitely call the
Now,
police.
see, we used to live in a different neighborhood in where I live in California, and the
Uh-huh.
people behind us used to always throw parties until wee hours of the night, and I didn't like it, but I didn't ever call the police on them, and they played some crazy music. And one time I threw a party for my daughter and she was having the cast over from her play and everything. And I made sure that I went to everybody behind us and I'm like, we're throwing a party. It might go till midnight. I'm not sure. Cause I know midnight's a little late. Usually parties should go to 10 around, and then the music should go down in a neighborhood. It's what the rule of thumb is. I think I was my rule of thumb is. So I made sure I let everybody know that we're doing because I never do one. I never have one. So they're like, huh, but not everybody's like that, and especially if you're in a culture, I guess, like where you're at, that's like if you're it's almost like you have to get permission from your neighbors to
Yeah,
throw a
you
party.
have to get permission. Yeah, you
Yeah.
kind of have to get permission if you wanna have a party. And I mean, everything here on a Sunday is, like, shut. Like, the supermarkets are closed. Like, everything it's like a ghost town, at least where I live. I mean, probably, in the bigger cities, things are open, but not really I mean, if you go to Berlin, yes, but not, in the other big cities. Most, like, shops are closed. So it's very I
You
mean,
have
they're
to
very
adjust
respectful of people and workers in that sense because they get a break. But,
so you have to adjust your life according to like the norms and traditions of where you're living. It's kind of bizarre, like California or America. It's Monday through Sunday. You know what I mean? You need to go to the store, there's a store. You need to get gas, there's a gas. But yeah, it would be different. Like it's like a shutdown. It's like
no, yeah, I mean, like, today is a holiday. It's, like, German, Unity Day, and everything was, like, closed. Like, we had to get groceries last night. If you didn't have milk, then you're done. like, so they're nothing.
Better not put that in
So
your coffee
it's
after lunch, that's for sure.
exactly. No,
Oh, no, that was
no way.
Italian, sorry.
That was in Italy, but yeah, the Germans are they're a lot less flexible. I mean, more flexible when it comes to food because their culinary uh, cu- cuisine per se is a lot different, and they kind of just eat because they need food to survive. Like they don't really have a love of food like the Italians do.
Yeah, that's true, huh? You don't say, "I'm gonna go
Yeah,
eat German food tonight." It's like, "I'm gonna
you're
eat."
not like, yeah, I'm going out for German.
Yeah.
Who says that?
It's funny, so
Ooh,
my uncle did like a 23andMe or something for him, which means it's a little different than me, but he was 80% German, so did you run across a lot of people that look like me where you live?
yes, yes. Blonde, yes, fair skin, exactly. I mean, the thing is that the one thing is that, like, I actually like, I fit in more here from my skin tone perspective. Because in Italy, everyone is tan.
I swear
Like,
you
they're
look olive
all
to me.
dark.
You look really olive.
Do I really?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm very fair. I'm like milk white. Yeah.
Funny. Well, you're not
Yeah.
coming off that way.
Okay, that's good then.
Maybe my lights are, like, shining on my whiteness.
Yeah, maybe, and I have there's a lot of artificial light on because it's 8 o'clock, 8:30 in Germany, so that's
Yeah.
probably
Oh, it's
why.
like
Yeah, it's
dinner
nighttime.
time or nighttime, bedtime.
Yeah.
Um, well, I mean, it's funny because we got off on so many things. I don't even know what to ask you next because I have all these questions. Hold on.
No worries, no
Well,
worries.
you worked at the Vatican, so let's get to that, right? You worked. I've been there. We went there one time. It's beautiful. So, working at the Vatican, it sounds like really a cool job. What was that experience like?
Sure. So I worked in one of the press offices, which was great. Working for the Roman Catholic Church is pretty amazing. But there again, a completely different environment. When your boss is not Joe, it's Monsignor or Your Excellency,
Right.
if he's a cardinal. So you had to like I had to learn how to actually address these people because there's certain formalities that need to be followed. So that was actually quite challenging. But the work was really interesting, and I got to travel a lot. And the cool part too was that the sort of faith and Catholicism was kind of ingrained in our like also everyday activities. So like if you had an issue or you had a problem, there was always like a priest there that you could talk to about anything. Um, you know, we celebrated, obviously, the religious holidays. So the faith was very intertwined in the work as well. So it was actually really interesting. I traveled a lot. I went to the Holy Land. I went to Syria before it was a war torn country, when they were actually trying to encourage pilgrims to visit the country. And in particular, St. Paul had actually walked through in the footsteps of St. Paul. Traveled through Syria. So I did a lot of traveling. It was really amazing, I have to say. It was pretty great, a really fantastic experience. Yeah.
Interesting. I was raised Catholic too, and
Okay.
my I ran the church. Or excuse me, my grandmother ran the church that my grandfather built. And then when I
Wow.
want to say it was at my grandfather's funeral, and the bishop was there. Now the father Dylan was friends with the family. He used to come for Christmas dinner at our house, my grandma's house. And my grandfather was really big. Everybody loved him, and I went up to him. I was really young. I went up to him and I hugged him. What'd you not do? Like, I don't know. Because I remember him. He remembers me. He's like, I remember this because I used to go down to my grandma's a lot and all the events that they would put on and different things and stuff. And so they kind of know me. And I went up to him and I hugged him. I think you're not supposed to hug him, but I went up and hugged him. Anyways, it was funny. Um,
What was the name of the church that your grandpa
it's
built?
called St. Peter's and St. Paul's Church. It's in
Okay.
Rockland, California. Rockland.
Wow. St.
St.
Peter and
Peter's.
St. Paul. Those are
Mhm.
the patron saints of, yeah, Rome. Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a beautiful church. And I have all kinds of pictures of my grandpa. Maybe I'll see if I can get some and post them on this episode.
Well, that's cool.
So all kinds of pictures of my grandfather. They even said that there's not one board, not one brick that didn't have his either footprint or handprint on it when they built
Cool.
yeah, so it's really interesting. And my grandmother ran the church for 25 years until I think she was 88 when she retired. So
Okay. So you were as a child, you were actively involved.
Yeah, yeah, and I went to Catholic
Okay.
school and a different town though, but we went to Catholic school and, I was married in the Catholic church. I'm not per se Catholic right now because I feel I'm more not I just went a different path. I'm a more non-denominational. It's not really
Okay.
a thing, but I still have the Catholic guilt because you cannot escape that.
Never. That doesn't go away.
No, and all I mean, I have,
That doesn't
I
go
have
away.
I mean, all the first communion, all the stuff, I did all the things. And I
Okay.
baptized my children in the Catholic Church, and we don't practice Catholic right now, but that's okay. Can I ask you a question? Because how did motherhood shift when you were far away? Like you didn't have like your support system, or did you? Or did you? Like, did you have family near you?
No. So I gave birth to my daughter in Italy, and I was really grateful that my mom and my dad came for the birth. They actually stayed the first 3 months, but then obviously they had to go back to New York, and I was kind of left in Italy with this baby. And I was like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do with her?" And it was hard. It was hard because, I mean, trying to balance being a mom with having a career, and then doing it in a country that's not your own. That it was really challenging. So in some ways, I found I found that I was kind of really trying to stick to my American ways. Like, the Italians were like, they were telling me you needed to like, as she was a baby, and they were like, no, just give her some chamomile tea. So they were like, just make it for her and give it to her, or give her fennel tea if she has gas.
So you were
And I
like
was like,
hyper protective, right?
yes, I've always been a super hyper protective parent. So uh, being in Italy, being away from your like support system, I think exacerbated that. I think it kind
Anxiety
of got
level.
worse. Yeah, yeah, up to the roof. So it was hard. It was hard, and then I had my son in Germany, so it was like a completely different system.
Man,
Um,
your kids will never be president.
yeah, they can't. So they can't be. But so that was hard too because it was another way of doing things. So it was like adapting to the German way, but at the same time trying to sort of do it my way as well. So it was difficult, and it still is. But my kids like they love it here. They love Germany. Like, and they feel like if I say to them, "Oh, we're moving, we're gonna move," and they're like, "No way, we want to stay. We love it." So yeah.
Well, I mean, the States isn't all it's cracked up to be, but there are beautiful things about America. But my husband and I sometimes often think, could we adapt like in Italy or somewhere else? And I'm like, no, because I'm so used to supersizing everything. Like our refrigerator is a bigger size. Like you guys shop like the week you're like a few days before you're going to eat it or whatever. Like I know you're like, you know what I'm saying? Like everything's so much smaller. And
Yeah, no, it's true, it's true. I mean, like, the Italians, like, shop every day.
yeah,
They go
like
figure out what they're gonna eat. I mean, and you're
right.
like, I mean, you have time to go to the supermarket every day? But I guess they make time, you know?
Crazy.
The Germans do it more like the American way. Like, you see they have, like, giant carts filled with food, so they're a little bit more, I would say supersized in that regard, but they also drive really big cars, like, everyone, this is the home of the BMW, Audi, so they all have
Right.
really big cars, so it's
That's
a
right.
little different,
This is
when
what
compared to Italy.
See, this is what podcasting is all about. It's learning things that you just didn't know about other
Sure.
cultures and other things. I, as a podcaster, am learning so many different things, and I'm so excited every time I have somebody on because I'm like, wow, wow, and I'm constantly like, this is awesome. And and sometimes I feel like it's my personal therapy session. I'm like, I just really want to cry, but it's just, I mean, imagine for like a listeners, like they too are hopefully getting a lot from the different things that they're getting out there on a podcast because you're getting different point of views and different takes. And so let me ask you a question about your disconnection and your feeling like were you feeling lonely and that's why you went to podcast as a lifeline? I mean, what at what point did you escape for that kind of comfort?
Sure. So, I mean, I knew about podcasts in Italy when I lived there, but I kind of just, I mean, I taught journalism at university. So we talked about like podcasts and what a great storytelling medium they were, but understand their potential until I moved to Germany, and I found myself, you know, um, alone. And I was like, who am I going to talk to? And the truth of the matter is, I'm not the most, like, I'm not really an extrovert. Like, I'm not the person out there, like, making friends. It's, I
You know
tend
what?
to
It's
be
funny.
more.
You'd think I would be, right? Because I have a mouth on me, but I don't have any friends. I have like a few.
No,
Sorry, Allie, you are my friend. I love you.
okay.
Because I said that once before, and Allie's like, Jessica,
Hey, what
we're your
about me?
friends. No, we're your friends. So I love you. And I do have a few like that, but I'm saying that, like, I don't know, like, we're not eating bonbons on the couch and watching scary movies kind of friend. I guess you don't do that anymore. Grown ups, I guess, don't do that anymore. But like, I'm not, I am, I talk and I like to people and I'll talk to people, but I don't go out and try to make friends. It's hard. Like,
It's really hard.
you don't have to be an extrovert. You just, I don't know. I don't know. Where
And
do
you
you
know
at
what? I
with
think the older
I
you
don't know.
get, the harder it becomes. Like, I mean, I moved to Germany and I was 39 at the time, and I I mean, like, making friends was like pulling teeth. I was like, "This is, like, horrible." Like, I have to socialize with people. I have to be, and I know this sounds terrible. I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta be super nice." Like, because when you make friends, you gotta be really nice. Not that I'm not nice, but, like, you have to put yourself out there. And I was like, "Oh my god, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I'm too old for this." So I mean, I tried to do that, and I still try, and I mean, I don't have a million friends, but I have some friends, but I also have a sister, so when you have a sister, it's like it's really also you feel like you don't really need to make friends because you have a sister, but my sister lives in New York, so I really do need to make friends, like, she's not here. But, going back to what I was saying, so I found myself in Germany. I was like, what am I going to do? And I just noticed that people in Germany, I have to tell you, they walk. Like they're not really going anywhere, but they just walk around the neighborhood. So I was like, I'm going to start walking too. I mean, I don't know where they're going, but I'm just going to start walking. So I started walking and I put my earbuds in and I started to listen to a few podcasts. I was like, well, what am I going to do when I walk? I was like, oh, maybe I'll just listen to some podcasts. And then I started to realize, well, I can find that New York voice I want, and then I can find, I can find out what's going on in the world if I'm listening to my news podcast. So that's how it really started. Like, and then slowly it became more and more. Like it started off like as a small habit, and then it became sort of an everyday habit. And something like, I mean, every day I need to listen to Up First. I need to find out what's going on. It's like a 10-minute NPR podcast. Then I might listen to The Big Take, which is a Bloomberg News podcast, which is about just business stories that I'm interested in. And then if I want to laugh, I like that Italian American comedian Sebastian Maniscalco, and he has a podcast with some other guy from New York, Pete Corielli. So if I really want to laugh, then I'll listen to them because they're just ridiculously funny. So I just kind of sort of started to uncover and understand what podcasts could do. And since then, I've kind of been hooked. And
Now
I,
look,
I
you're on
just,
one.
and now I'm on one, which is even better.
Or
So cool.
you're probably on a whole bunch for your book. So let's go to your book. So podcast inspired you to write a book. Did you add things? Because I wrote a memoir. I can't even say the word memoir. I wrote one is about my crazy life,
Okay.
called A Bucket List from a Redneck Girl. But it was me my whole life, and it didn't really incorporate the podcast part because I didn't get to the podcast part until after I wrote it. But when I wrote my book, I learned a lot about myself at the end. Did you have that kind of experience where at the end of the book, you kind of realize things that you didn't realize before, having to go through those thoughts and feelings when you were writing your book?
Yeah. I mean, I have to tell you, like, putting all of it down on quote unquote paper, really, it's hard, to be honest with you, because my memoir is quite confessional. So I do say a lot of things about myself, including that, I don't have a lot of friends. I have like
It's the same
social
thing.
anxiety. Um, I don't do well in certain situations. I feel I have a lot of Catholic guilt. I feel guilty about leaving my parents who were, live in New York, and then my dad got sick and I was far away. So I kind of put it all out there. And that was hard, but then by the end, it was kind of like a cathartic experience because I got it out there because it was all inside of me, you
Yeah.
know? It
It's
was
like
just
guilt.
all
You feel
building
so
up.
guilty. You wanted to put it out, so it was almost like an apology book. It's to
Yeah,
your loved ones in a way. Like,
it's true.
yeah. And I felt like did can I ask you a question about did you go young life at all in your book, or did you just go straight to where kind of like you're now you're an adult and you're moving and this is what's going on, or did you in your book did you put a little bit of like your younger years at all?
I mentioned a little bit about that. I mentioned a little bit about that, especially like, growing up in New York, and I talk a lot about that, but it's mostly focused on the time, in my time in Italy and in Germany. And with even more of a focus of the German aspect of it per se. So there's a lot of comparisons, between the countries, but, there's also it's more about me at what was that stage of my life, which was about probably 5 years ago, because it took a long time to write. So,
How long did it take
yeah.
you to write it?
Over 5 years because I did it, part-time as it was actually my PhD project, so I did it part-time.
Okay.
So it took about 5 years, yeah.
You have a PhD in what?
In
Oh,
creative writing.
in creative writing. Oh, that's really
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I was thinking, I always thought like, it's funny. I got my master's degree and I thought, oh, should I go on and get, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I don't even have a job that is anywhere near my degree. And and I don't even know if getting my PhD is going to really make a difference. I still could. It's more of like a bucket. Getting my master's was more of a bucket list thing. And then,
Right.
and then you think, oh, the PhD, I can continue on and, get that, but will I really get paid? Probably not. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's not really about the money because,
mm.
yeah, it's not
Then I
really
thought to
about that. I
myself, do
mean,
I really want to spend a year and a half trying to write a dissertation? I'm like, no, but that's
yeah,
just me.
it's
Just
honest.
saying.
It's like giving birth, but like, like a 6 years of labor.
Yeah, and then
Okay, a
and then they
5
look
year.
then they look at your baby and they go, it's not that great,
They're like, they're like, we have some corrections for
Yeah,
you, and you're like,
yeah,
what?
yeah. Your baby came out a little lopsided.
Hold
We need to
on.
fix this. That's funny. Can I ask you a question? So, what do you hope that moms or just readers in general will take away from your book?
Think that what I hope that they take away if they read the book is um, that it is okay to be yourself, that it is okay to like have lots of flaws. It is okay to be anxious about things. It is okay to worry about things. It is okay to admit that you're not great at things. But at the same time, like there's a community of people out there that will get you. You just have to find them, and I kind of found them through my podcasts. So that's really what happened. Like when I wanted to hear someone say, Rosa Maria, it's fine that you're like obsessed that you're with your kids and that they're
You're
not
not
they're not.
alone. You're not alone. A lot of mommies have mommy guilt about just pretty much everything. I mean, I have mommy guilt on the daily. Like, I'm like, am I spending enough time, or did I call the doctor when I'm supposed to follow up on all of this, and just all these little
Yeah,
things,
do I play enough?
right?
Or am I
Are
playing
we reading to
enough
my
because they're
kid?
getting big? Yeah,
Remember?
am I reading enough? Am I doing this? So the thing is that like through podcasts and through the book, like the idea is that there's a community out there of people that can help you and support you and make you understand that what you're feeling is okay. And that there are ways to actually, help yourself and deal with those things. So that's really what I hope that moms get from it. So
So okay, so if you okay, now you don't have to say my podcast,
yes.
because I'll take you that off the table. Not
Okay.
not that you would, but if you could listen to one podcast forever, what would it be?
One podcast forever. Wow. I'm gonna be nerdy, okay? And I'm gonna listen to the podcast I mentioned before, which is Up First, which is basically the NPR podcast. It's 3 news stories a day. At least this way I know what's going on in the world because I'm a bit of a news junkie. So I need to kind of know what's going on and that would help
News
me.
on right here. I watch the news all day long, all day, and then all night. It's crazy. I get to a point where I'm like, I heard all this, and my husband comes home, and I'm like, let's listen to
He's
the.
like, "Did you hear that?" You're like, "Yeah, I heard that yesterday."
Or he'll tell me some story, and I'm like, really? And I'm thinking like, I already know this, but I'll just say, okay, really, I didn't know that. You know, like it's a. But I'm a big news nerd too. I love the news. I
Okay.
love world news. I actually work for a news station, and I don't watch my own local news. I watch world news. But
Really?
yeah, that's how
Okay.
nuts I am. Okay, so can I ask you a question? Okay, so how do you like going on podcasts? How has it been for you? I mean, how many have you done so far for your book? If you don't,
Um, about I think 6.
yeah,
I actually love it. It is so much fun. I love it, and it's the same for me. Like, the people that I'm meeting, it's just fantastic because it's just so
right,
much fun, and, like, I'm learning things because then what happens is, like, I'm sharing my stuff, but they're sharing their things as well. So it's
right.
just
Like me,
amazing.
I can't
So
stop talking about myself half the time. That's why people, when they leave, they know more about me than they would want to know about me. But I can't help it because it's fun. It's
No,
like
it's fun. They're so great.
and I don't have, like you said, I don't have a bunch of friends, so I'm actually making friends as we go, and
Through
I think,
podcasts,
yeah,
yeah.
it's really, really a fun thing. And I don't know when, when is there going to be an expiration date? Who knows? I don't know. Whatever. Do you have like a landing page, like a website that people can go to?
I
Um,
do, yeah, it's my website, which is just my name, so it's rosamariamancini.com, and they can find out about my book, they can, learn about a little bit more about me, and all that other stuff, so yeah, there's all the
you
information on
have,
there.
where can they buy your book? Is it on Amazon or?
It's on Amazon, there's available as a Kindle and also as a hard copy as well. So
Have you
any Amazon, Barnes& and
done
Noble, any place you get your
have you done
books.
an audio for it yet?
I haven't done an audio for it. Should I
Here's
do an audio for it?
Let me tell you why. I'm learning
Okay,
as my audio. In fact, they said that I have to review it now, and so they're
okay,
like, okay, review it and tell me if there's any misspelling or mispronounced words. So I have to listen to my book. Like it's gonna take me forever to get through it. Again, after I read it like 20 times, I'm like, ugh, my book. I'm like tired of my book. Okay, but the reason why you should have an audio is because more than 50% of books being sold, more than 50 are audiobooks. People are buying the audios,
really?
they're not buying the handbooks. They're not doing it anymore. Especially
Okay.
millennials, they don't want the things. Like when we were growing up, I wanted to have the book on a shelf,
Yeah,
And
hello.
it's like my trophy of something that I read. I read this.
Ex Exactly.
These kids are like, no, I don't have space for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not in my mom's basement. But
exactly, right.
so look into possibly seeing if you could do, and you know what, you could read it yourself and find somebody that'll allow you to do that. On my company, I went through Christian Faith Publishing, but they wouldn't allow me to read it myself. But whatever.
Okay.
But I would say if I were you, and if you feel like it's an investment you want to try, I would definitely go for it.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
look
that's good
into it.
advice, that's good
Yeah.
advice.
Well, good. See, I helped somebody.
That's fantastic.
Okay, here's to my listeners. If you want to go and find out more about Rosa Maria Mancini, you need to go to my website as well at jesssaying.net. That's JESSSAYING.net. And then you go to podcasts, select podcast, scroll down, find this episode, click on Rosa Maria's name, and it'll take you directly to her website. And then you can look up her book and find out more information. Do you have any social media that you would want?
Yeah, Instagram, I have an Instagram account, it's just my name as well, so you can find me on there,
Rosa
and
Maria Mancini. It's easy.
perfecto, very
Yeah, it's
good.
easy to pronounce. It's easy to spell. Its spelling is exactly how you pronounce it. Go to her Instagram. Do you have a LinkedIn or a
I have a
Facebook?
LinkedIn, yeah, Instagram, LinkedIn,
Okay.
and I have an X account, but nobody really uses X
I'm
anymore, but
I'm not using my ex like I should be, and I I have like 0 followers. I do have a TikTok that I started, and I have like 6,200 people, which is good, but
Wow,
I know it's gaining, and I have like
that's
a
cool.
lot of likes, so I like that. But so go to her pages, like and subscribe, and click follow, because we are all trying to build a community here. Same with me.
Yes.
Go to my TikTok, my LinkedIn, all my things, and I will go to yours. You go to mine, Rosa Maria, and
I will. I
let's like
will.
each other. And
Okay.
yeah, my and you know what? That's the end. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Say goodbye, Rosa Maria. Wait for
Thanks so
me.
much for having me. I had so much fun.
Wait for me. My camera's not working, but I know my sound is. Everybody, goodbye. Thank you so much.
Gather around when the sun dips low, talking about the days we used to know. VCR tapes and dial-up tones, raising kids living with achy bones. Leather jackets and big hair days, now it's carpool lines and PTA. Neon dreams turn into schoolyard fights, but our hearts glow in retro nights. We are Gen X, living both worlds. From cassette tapes to a digital world. Parenting now with a nod to the past. The retro love we know will last. We are Gen X, living both worlds. From cassette tapes to a digital world. Parenting now with a nod to the past. The retro love we know will last. We dance to the beats of the boombox sound. Now bedtime stories echo all around. But deep inside we're the mixtape kings, still fighting life with arcade dreams. Feeding families with a pizza slice, telling tales with a side of advice, laughing at the way it used to be.